John's victory in Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, and once again, welcome to John's celebration of life. I'm an outside-the-box girl, and so I chose to do John's tribute, and I really truly hope that I can do justice to the man. I don't stand behind podiums. So, John was a Dale Carnegie man, and some of you people are probably students of Dale Carnegie, and you all know that a name is the most beautiful and most important thing to a person. And John Paul Palmer's name was important to him. He was tickled that he kind of came in on November 8th, 1960, about the same time that Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy were kind of battling it out for the presidency. And so he kind of wanted to think that he was maybe named after that newly elected Massachusetts Irish boy. But John was Polish, and that didn't seem to matter. He could still have his kibas and kind of make sure that the politics went his way. So it was important to him that his name was important. He was named after his father's middle name. I took on John. His father's name was Charles John Palmer, and then he actually had his middle name being Paul, which was a beloved uncle, a great uncle, I guess. And there's a lot of Pauls in the Palmer family, a lot. And you think, wow, didn't somebody get mad at the other because they named their kid Paul too? But it seemed to be a name that evidently was fond. Someone was fond of whoever they were being named on. So that's kind of cool. And moving on, I'm Penny Palmer. John and I didn't have a long time together. We were married on the coldest day of January. It was January 5th of 2018. And some of you were actually there on that freezing day, and I made you wait at least 20 minutes after the time the wedding was supposed to start. I guess I was kind of like, had cold feet. But John is, what? But John was a very spontaneous person. I actually had taken him, well, I don't know if you all know or not, but John had some health issues. And I was always the go-to girl to help people out, and I wanted to help him get better. And by the way, we met at IBC, Independent Baptist Church. How we met was, the Independent Baptist Church, people like to separate you. If you're married, you're over here. If you're single, you're over here. And it was a spaghetti dinner, and here I was going for Bible study, and we ended up in the singles table. And so there was this older lady, and I'm sorry, I don't know her name, so Dale Carnegie's probably rolling his grave right now, but John's probably having a treat with it. But this older woman just loved John's eyes, and she would say, oh, John, you have such beautiful blue eyes. And I'd go, really? And you have to look, right? Oh, yeah, they are blue. Yeah. All right, so it's like, all right, so he has blue eyes, and he's charming. I guess this old lady thinks, that he's charming. And so I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just ask him to dinner, So we went outside, and I said, hey, and I'm running after him. Hey, you need a friend? You need a friend? And he was like, what? And I was like, do you need a friend? Like, do you ever, want to just go out to dinner and just talk? I mean, I was single for 13 years, and so having the man side of things was something I was missing. And I was like, you got blue eyes, you might be human. Let's talk. And so we talked. And he took me to the Bloomsburg Fair. That was like one of our first dates. And you know how you get up on those little carts and they run you around so you can see the view of the park. We're chit-chatting back and forth, and I'm looking at those eyes and saying, yep, it's still blue. And it's like, okay. So we get that, so now here's the thing. We're riding home. Well, I didn't realize, did I tell you that he didn't really know how to get to Bloomsburg? said to me, "You don't think that I'm doing anything wrong, do you?" I just don't know how to get there. I'm like, don't worry about it. I figured we'd get there sooner or later. We were meeting Jolita and Alan, our friends. They were already there. They didn't know he was lost either. But we did get there. But now it's coming home, right? And so it's like, remember, it's like the second time I'm with this man, and it's like driving down the road, and it seems like the darker it got, the faster we were going. And it's like, why are we going so fast? Oh, he says, I fall asleep. He says, I get too tired. Oh, gosh. It's like, all right, but he still has blue eyes. Okay, what's in the name? It's beautiful, but the eyes are even better. So, I'm still wanting the healing, right? I mean, that's what you do, brotherly love, right? Sisterly love. You reach out and you help somebody. So, I'm saying to him, hey, I go to a chiropractor because I've got back issues. You have back issues. How about if you come with me? We have a miracle maker, and, we'll take care of things. So, okay, he'll go with me. So we went there, and I said, after my appointment, why don't we go to this vintage shop? And we went to Ithaca, by the way, So we go to Ithaca, and this is November. Did I tell you that we started dating in whenever the Bloomsburg Fair is? So it's either the first part of September or the middle of September, right? So get this. I mean, if you don't know us, get this one. Keep that in mind, all right? Because remember, that was 2017 fall. We were married January of 2018. It was a very short relationship. But he had blue eyes. So, okay. We get to this vintage shop, right? And you know how God gives you some signs? Little signs? How many of you know God gives you little signs that say certain things, right? So we get to this vintage shop, and I'm so excited, right? Because there's rings in there, right? And John's already talking about, marrying. And he didn't want a girlfriend. He wanted a longer relationship. Okay, so we're getting in there, and I'm so excited because there's rings in there, and he has blue eyes. And so we get in. Well, so we look, and it says open at 10 o'clock. It's now 11, and they're not open. So he says, okay, well, we'll just go over, get some coffee. We went over and got some coffee. We came back, and it's still not open. So, okay, we can go over to the toy store and look for toys for kids and come back, and still wasn't open. And we were just about ready to, turn around and leave, and the door opened. I was excited. She said, oh, I'm so sorry. My helper was sick, and she forgot to call me, and da-da-da-da, and she was the owner, and she was opening the door. Come on in! So we went in. So I go over to the rings, and I'm looking at the rings, and I'm trying on the rings, and I didn't find anything. It's like, okay, all right, no problem. We came to heal his back, heal my back. We don't need no darn ring. What was I thinking? The woman says to me, so, I have this most beautiful ring that I just picked up. Would you like to see it? And I said, sure, right? So she brings out this ring. Whew, has a pretty ring. Reminded me of my grandma, right? That's a truth. That's just right to your heart, right? Your grandma. So I said to John, isn't this ring pretty? Boom, you know what he did? Down on his knees. He's proposing to me. I say yes. The woman takes a picture. Boom. It's on Instagram. So either one of us or both of us is in real trouble. Yeah. Right? So he's saying to me, okay, all right. Remember, he has blue eyes. This is why I have a jeweler friend, in Sayre. Did I tell you that we bought it? We bought it. I have a jeweler friend in Sayre. We can go there and we can have it looked at and everything. Okay, let's do that. So we go there, and all of a sudden we walk in, and the woman says, congratulations! And it's like, what? Congratulations, you're on Instagram. Aren't you the couple that just got engaged? And I said, yeah, he has blue eyes. That was our beginning. I'd like to say that I knew more about John from the time that he was young. I actually found a book the night that he passed. I'll be honest, there were some pieces of furniture in our house that I never rummaged through in the 2 years and 10 months that we lived together. It wasn't part of me. It was a past. But that night, I needed something desperately to hold on to. And so God gave it to me. I opened a drawer and I saw all these pictures of his nieces and his nephews. And I started pulling them out and looking at them. And then I found this book. And it was A Father's Legacy. And it began to tell stories and ask questions. And John started to answer the questions. And he told a story of when he was, and it was 1966, just like he was an old man. You know, it was 1966. And he said, you know, he'd be 6 years old. And he said that there was a big blizzard. And he loved it because they got 3 days off from school. And so he was excited. So he and his brother Charlie were sleigh riding the whole time. But when they got done, they took a walk and they got some hot chocolate. And they shared that together. And then he, you know, John will pick on you, you know, sometimes and stuff. And sometimes he'll get mad at you. Sometimes he won't talk to you. Sometimes he'll say some things to you like, you know, have a nice day. And I always knew that have a nice day meant see you later, I'm not talking to you for a while. Yeah, he wasn't a pussycat. He had blue eyes, but he wasn't always the pussycat. She was. And so, you know, but he told about like getting even with somebody. So one day he decided to get even with somebody, so he took some dog poo and he took it up to the porch and he lit it on fire. Now, somehow along the way, he thought that was going to build a relationship. You know? And I think he kind of found out that quite doesn't cut it. One of the beautiful things, one of the richest, most precious gifts that John Paul Palmer has given to me is his two sons, Jared and Jordan. These boys, I didn't know them as little boys, but I know them as young men. And I know that their maturity that I've seen since Daddy passed away is the beginning of a deep growth for both of these men. And their hearts are pure and they're godly. And their desire is to do exactly what their dad did in a way. John watched his father work dang hard. John's dad was in the restaurant business, and he watched him work hard, and he knew that his father wanted something better for his children. And John Palmer, as much as things might have gone away with him sometimes, what he was trying to do was build his life and work hard for his children, and that the family could have a better life. And for their mother. I also know that there was a lot of heartache in John's life. It wasn't always fun and games. It was hardships. He lost a mother when he was, and I'm not really sure, 8, 9 years old. He lost a beloved nephew. There were so many little tragedies in John's life that wound us, put holes in our hearts. There were relationships that he didn't know how to correct, maybe his actions to heal, to bring comfort, to bring joy or love. He didn't know how to do that. I do know that from hearing people, he was the type of man, though, that tried. He reached out, he asked for help, and he found that in his Lord. A lot of you, when I came up on the Hill family, I call us, we're not the Beverly Hillbillies, we're the Hill family. And when we first got married, Jesse Singley came to the house, and he started telling me about the gentle, kind man John Palmer was. I was proud that I was married to John Palmer, and it was not because of his blue eyes. We have a great family on the hill. We're there for each other. It's all for one and one for all. And we do things together, and we do it with love. And there are times that we can kick each other and, curse and stuff, but you know what? In the end, we know how to wrap ourselves around each other and be there for one another. John was a mud man. Oh, John was a mud man. But he washed his own clothes. That's good. You trained him well, John. Thank you. And so he washed his own clothes, but he would come in from the head to the toe, and he would be mud, or somebody would get stuck in the mud, and he'd have to go rescue him, whether it was, I don't know what time of night, when we did it. Jolita, I'm going to steal your little. Jolita and Alan come from Oklahoma, and they've been on the hill for how many years? From 2013 or something like that. So they kind of adopted John as their kind of son. Jolita's a prankster, so you got to be careful with her. She didn't care that John's eyes were blue. He would hit. Matter of fact, she didn't even see them because whenever they drove him someplace, he would fall asleep. All right. So Jolita, being the prankster that she is, one day took her lipstick out and she painted something on his face. And then when they went to the Dandy Mini Mart, of course, it was after John would wake up. Right? Could you see John? And hi, everybody. Hi. Yeah, right? Yeah. He goes to the bathroom, and I think the men's room must have a mirror, too, and he goes, oh, my gosh, Jolita. Yeah. And he comes back, and he says, I'll get you. So he had a way of getting him. I don't want to take too much time. But the man that I loved, we all loved, and we will dearly miss. He had a lot of things. The one thing that he said, and I think you'll all agree, in his book, he said, and I hope I can get it right because I left my papers in the bag. But he said, you give until it hurts, and then you give some more. And that was the heart of John Paul Palmer. Someone that I'm very proud to have known and to have been his helper in life. The ones that we could talk about things and share things with and pray about things. And that's who I know John Palmer to be. I know I've left a lot of things out, his businesses and all that. I think what matters the most is that we all loved him and he had a heart for each of us. Thank you for coming.